Okay, hey guys, how you doing? We're back with my second video of today. We're going to be breaking down, last video we broke down the confirmed fights for this year, like January, February in the heavyweight division. So now we're going to be breaking down the rest of the top 15, who everyone should be fighting, what they should be looking for. So we're going to start off with Walter Walker, who's ranked number 14 so far. He's on a 4-fight win streak, all by heel hook. Only fight he's lost in the UFC was a decision loss to Lucas Bresky. So I think Walter Walker should be looking to go against like a Ty Brewer at number 10 to get himself that number 10 ranking, you know, solidify himself in the top 10 as a contender. Uh, Marcin Tybura known for being a ground fighter, so if Walter Walker can pull off a heel hook against him, that would be impressive. You know, he shows off the ability to get that heel hook against people with submission defense and skills in jiu-jitsu and wrestling, which Marcin Tybura has, and it would prove that he's not like a one-trick wonder using it against nobodies like or crap fighters like Kennedy Nzechukwu. So that would really, show his ability to compete within the top 10. Or he could look at fighting another contender in Vitor Petrino, who has shown to have submission defense and submission offense. True, he did lose to Anthony Smith in a pretty crap way. Basically gave Anthony Smith the guillotine choke. Not a good look, but he's redeemed himself since. He got a rear naked choke win over Austin Lane, and he just TKO'd Thomas Peterson. Not long after Walter Walker, he got his last win against Louis Sutherland on the Aspinall Garn card. Vitor Petrino got his last win on the Oliveira vs. Gamrot card. So, not too far apart. They're both looking to come back at the same time. So I think that could be a good matchup for Walter Walker. Take on another contender within the division rather than just fat unranked heavyweights. But yeah, so I think that's who he should be looking to take on. Next up, Shamil Gaziev. Shamil Gaziev, I think, should be looking to take on like Marcin Tybura, a ground fighter. Shamil Gaziev, bit of a blob, ground fighter as well. He has the ability to TKO someone. It's heavyweight, everyone does. But, if he can take out Marcin Tybura, get himself in the top 10. He recently lost to Walter Cortez Acosta in November. He got TKO'd in round one. So, if he can bounce back up against Marcin Tybura, a guy with finishing potential, and another, very good ground game fighter, that could be good for him. Marcin Tybura at this point kind of just like a gatekeeper for the top 10 almost, and probably later on the top 15. But yeah, so Marcin Tybura, or he could look to take on another contender in Mick Parkin, who's ranked number 13 at the moment. Just solidify his position here. His last two wins were Thomas Peterson and Dontel Mays, not exactly the best wins. So if he can take out a Mick Parkin, who's also a contender, has only lost to Tybura, that would be quite good for Shamil Gaziev, I feel. Good way to solidify himself in the top 15, potentially push himself into a top 10 position, just number 10 ranked. But yeah, so I think that's who Shamil Gaziev should look for, either a Tybura or a Mick Parkin. Mick Parkin himself, I think, his best bet is probably looking at either a Walter Walker or a Shamil Gaziev. Next up, Tybura himself, if he's looking not to fight a contender, or he wants another option other than like Shamil Gaziev or some of the other contenders like Walter Walker coming up, he could look to fight Sergey Spivak coming off. If Sergey Spivak loses to Ante Delija, gives Marcin Tybura what was his last fight? His last fight was a loss, I believe. Yeah, to Ante Delija. So by KO TKO, that was in September. So if Sergey Spivak doesn't take much damage against Delija, or he could look to take on Marcin Tybura could look to take him on. That could end up being quite good for him. Marcin Tybura lost to Sergey Spivak. He could look to avenge that loss. Sergey Spivak could look to be getting back in the win column with an easier fight, or if Tybura wants to fight sooner, I would say he would probably look to fight Shamil Gaziev. I think that's probably a fight he could win. Yeah, so that's who I think Tybura should be looking for in the division so far. Next up, Almeida. I think Almeida could potentially, he's on a loss at the moment, split decision to Alexander Volkov, arguably got robbed, but he was on a 2-fight win streak before that. He beat Alexander Romanov, he beat Sergey Spivak, both in round one. He has the potential to be exciting. Sometimes he just isn't. But I think Jailton Almeida could look to take on Waldo Cortez Acosta coming off a loss. I don't think Waldo will fight him coming off a win. I don't think that's probably in his best interest. But I think coming off a loss, Waldo might say, hey, I could do what Blades did, and I could KO TKO him going in for a takedown, or just keep it on the feet. So I think that Almeida could look for Waldo on a loss, or he could look for Ante Delija coming off a win. Ante Delija might have the grappling to, survive Almeida and then beat him up on the feet. But Almeida, you never know. He has showed he's got decent enough striking enough to keep himself alive before he gets it to the ground. So he could look to go Delija on a win or just Waldo on a loss. So I think that's who. I don't think Almeida's near a title shot at this point. But someone who is Blades, Curtis Blades. He's not doing too bad for himself. He did lose to Tom. So if Tom's still champ, I don't think that they run that back because he got finished easily in a minute in round one. He beat Rizvan Kuniev in his last fight, but that was a split decision. I don't think he's going to be able to get a title shot off of a 2-fight win streak. I think he's going to need to get 3, maybe even, I hate to say it, maybe even 4 if the heavyweight division is unable to sort itself out quickly. Tom's going to be out for a while. So I think Blades should look to fight like a Volkov in a rematch, because he beat Volkov a while ago, back in 2020. Volkov's improved now. Blades has, kind of had some ups and downs since then. So I think, Blades could look to take on Volkov, get a 2-up on him. Volkov's number 2 in the division. He's kind of close to a title shot, probably not too close. Depends on if Tom stays as champ, because I don't think they're going to want to run a trilogy against him. So I think Blades could look to take on Volkov, or he could look to take on Sergey Spivak, coming off of a win against Ante Delija. Curtis Blades has not fought Sergey Spivak before. That would be a new matchup in the division. And honestly, I think Blades beats Spivak. I think he TKOs him on the ground with ground and pound. But yeah, so I think Blades could, take on Spivak coming off a win. Spivak be around number 5. It'd be pretty good for Blades. Get him, and then that Volkov fight again, could really cement him in the top 3, top 2, and get him that title shot that he wants. Next up, Volkov, number 2 ranked, split decision win over Jailton Almeida, arguably a robbery. Did arguably beat Cyril Volkov, Cyril Gane though, should have gotten the win, got robbed. I think Volkov could look to take on Blades. I think he's a technical enough striker. I think his ground game's good enough that he can keep it on the feet and knock out Blades at range. Or I'm thinking he could go against Pavlovich, Sergey Pavlovich, number 3 ranked at the moment. Sergey Pavlovich on a 2-fight win streak. He fought in August. He's probably looking to come back March, maybe. So I think, and Volkov didn't take too much damage against Almeida, really. So I think Volkov looks to take on Sergey Pavlovich, secure himself that title shot. I think Volkov on a 2-fight win streak, if Tom Aspinall isn't champ, when he's looking to challenge for the title, I think if Alex Pereira or Cyril Gane takes it, I think they put Volkov up against the champ. So I think Volkov, if he beats Pavlovich or he beats Blades, he's probably secured himself a title shot. They might make him do one more, but I think he's probably going to be good. If Cyril Gane doesn't get the interim fight against, or loses the interim fight against Alex Pereira, or if they even make it an undisputed fight, I think they might make Volkov run it back with Gane, and I think he can win that. So Volkov, I think, has got, if he beats Pavlovich or Blades or Gane, he's got a very good chance of challenging for the title this year. But yeah, speaking of the title, you got Tom Aspinall, champion at the moment. I love Tom, great fighter. He's my boy. He is not he's not going to be back for a while. His eye's still fucked up at the moment. When he does come back, he's either going to have to fight Gane again, or he's going to have to fight the winner of Gane versus Pereira, which I believe they're going to do if Pereira wants to move up to heavyweight, which is, there's already rumours of. Pereira wants to be free division champion, so Pereira versus Gane. I think Pereira wins that fight. I think he knocks out Gane. I think he smokes him. I don't think Gane can really play the tippy-tappy leg kick jab game with Pereira. Pereira's leg kicks are better. He's got more power. He's going to close it in. He's going to fuck up Gane's legs, and then he's going to knock him out with a left hook. And then I think, Tom will take on the winner of Gane versus Pereira to unite the championship. I think when it comes to Pereira, I don't really know how that fight would go. I think Tom could potentially win it. I think Pereira did show really good takedown defense against oh god, I've forgotten his name. The fucking gnome. God, what the fuck was his name? Oh yeah, Magomed Alive. Sorry, fuck. Yeah, Alex Pereira did show good defense against Magomed Alive, but Tom maybe could, like he's talked about it before, spear tackling. But yeah, so that would be an interesting fight, but that's who's probably going to be next to Tom, and then he could look to take on Volkov in a trilogy. Probably not. Or Gane if he gets one of his infinite title shots. So yeah, I think Tom's year is probably going to look like either fighting Pereira, Gane, or maybe Volkov if he puts together a win streak, or a 2 or 3 fight win streak. But yes, I think that's probably how the heavyweight division is going to look. Sergey Pavlovich probably wants to just take on Volkov or Blades. Not sure. One of those two. Cyril Gane is going to be fighting for a title this year. Definitely his first fight's going to be a title fight, either for the interim or undisputed. Not sure at this point. But yeah, so honestly, I think Cyril Gane loses. I don't think he beats either Tom or Pereira. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. I don't think the UFC honestly will want him to win, especially not against Pereira. So yeah, but those are the fights I think should happen in the UFC top 15. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of these. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to drop a like, drop a comment, drop a follow, and catch you around.